My name is Anissa Michaels, and today I'll be demonstrating on how to make a cake. We will be making Betty Crocker Super Moist Chocolate Fudge Cake. Yummy! Things you will need to construct this cake. You will need a 1 1/3 cup of water. And here is a 1 1/3 cup of water. You will need a 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. You will need 3 large eggs. Giant eagle eggs, good. And you can use a cake pan, or you can make cupcakes. And you want to have shortening and flour with you also. You want to make sure you preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Now, I know different ovens run at different temperatures, so it depends on your type of oven and how it heats. You want to grease the sides and the bottom of each pan with shortener and flour. Or you can use a little bit of the cake mix and coat it on the bottom of the pan so it absorbs into the cake. You want to shorten each side of the pan and the bottom, and you want to flour lightly so your cake does not stick. You would like to blend in a blender, usually a cake blender, but I don't have one. They are very expensive. But another alternative is to blend the dry mix and the oil, the 3 eggs, and the water into a large bowl like so. To make sure that your cake does not stick as you're mixing, you want to make sure you use a wooden spoon, not any other type of spoon. You want to mix it up until there is no bubbles in it. You want to make sure it's smooth and consistent. Then you want to pour your batter into a cake pan, or if you're making cupcakes, you want to make sure you line these with cupcake holders. You don't want to put them directly into the pan. And as you're doing that, you want to pound on the bottom to make sure it is smooth and consistent and it does not have any bubbles in it. There are different times for cakes, your different pans on the back of the box usually. Since we're using a 13x9 pan, we want to bake our cake 29 to 34 minutes. If the cake, make sure that when the time is up on the cake, you pull it out of your oven. But before you actually take it out of the oven, you want to insert a toothpick into it. If it comes out gooey or there is still cake remnants on the toothpick, that means the cake is not done. You want to put your cake back in for about 5 more minutes and check it until the toothpick comes out nice and clean. After that, you want to take it out of your oven, and please use oven mitts, and you want to set it on a cooling rack. And make sure it cools for about 15 to 20 minutes. After that, if you want to frost your cake, there's different types of frosting. Today we are going to use whipped milk chocolate frosting. And this is a chocolate cake. You want to make sure you stir your frosting at room temperature with a knife to make it nice and fluffy. If you have your cake frosting in a refrigerator, it won't come out as thick as consistent as it would if you had it at room temperature and mixing it with a knife. If you leave it in your refrigerator, it will come out all clumpy and you cannot brush it on your cake. What you want to do is take the knife out of the frosting, and then make sure your cake is nice and dry, and you just want to smooth over the cake until each corner is nicely frosted. The same thing applies for cupcakes. As making a cake, you want to make sure you get your frosting on the cupcakes. Now you can also decorate a cake. As you see in many pictures and on many television shows, there are many different ways to decorate a cake. You can put sprinkles on it or jimmies on it. Now there are birthday cakes, wedding cakes. If you look around, if you're making like a wedding cake, or you want to put different kinds of frosting, or if you want to put like happy birthday to your friend or anything on it, you can usually go to Walmart or Giant Eagle or some type of store like that. They usually have utensils out there specifically for decorating cakes. They have alphabets, numbers, They have different tubes with different colored frosting. You can get them at, I believe, any color imaginable. I think that that'd be a good way to show somebody you care, is if you actually take time to decorate their cake. I've seen some very beautiful cakes made by people, and I wonder, you know, how people are so creative, and there's so much out there. You can use different coverings and stuff on it. After you frost the said cake, you want to make sure that you store it. Now, most people you can use foil or plastic wrap. The problem, it's a good idea, but the problem is with that, when you go to store it into your refrigerator, you don't want to press down on the foil or the plastic wrap, because when you go to rip off the foil or the plastic wrap, all your icing is going to come off, and that will be in vain of frosting your cake. Now, there are things called cake stores. They are plastic. You can usually find them at any Walmart in the Tupperware aisle, or the cooking aisle, or the utensils aisle. Now, same thing follows with that. You don't want to press too hard on the lid, because the icing will come off. Now, the recommended time to eat the cake is 2 to 3 days after you make it, because by that time the cake will lose its moistness and it will become hard. I would like to thank you, and I hope that this helped you better learn how to make a cake. And I hope that next time you go to make a cake, you think of me. Thank you.